looks better mannered, more formal. Now, it's a little bit confusing because the people on the left do look happy. But they look a little bit too relaxed. The person on the right, he doesn't look too happy, does he? But he's probably a bit more prepared in this case. I think this one maybe fits the Korean idea of like the good employee, and he looks about as good as anybody else who's ready. But the people on the left maybe a bit too relaxed, not focused on the job, and they might appear also in America a little bit rude, a bit rude. Extremely relaxed or quiet? What looks better to you? Well, left-hand side, maybe a bit too much, but it depends on the company that you're working for. Perhaps a company like Google or something along those lines or Apple might not really mind these kind of things. But many companies are going to expect somebody who is quiet and ready to go, not too relaxed, just not tense, not scared, not extremely nervous, comfortable, quiet, happy, and confident. These are the people that they look for to hire in their position. Which one looks better to you? You see the right one there. It looks a little bit, well, I think he's Japanese actually, right? And I think we talked before, sometimes their work culture fits the Korean work culture a little bit better. Some Korean students might think that America is very relaxed and the left picture is totally fine in America, but that's not always true. In fact, America can be very formal. In some ways can be more strict and more formal than Korea. In some ways, I think that's true. Um, and often a tough work environment too. So it definitely depends. But we would probably think for waiting for the job interview that the left hand is too relaxed as well, except maybe the guy on the right who seems to be looking at his laptop. Okay. Impatient or calm? So what is impatient? What's impatient? Well, impatient, of course, means, right, not patient, not wanting to wait, not wanting to wait. So impatience is considered bad, and sometimes it's a sign of being nervous. And we know also that sometimes being nervous is a sign of not being confident. And that is, of course, a negative thing in a job interview, not being confident. And I think that in a way in Korea is also the same as the United States. The lady on the right, on the other hand, looks like she's very calm. She's ready. She might be a little bit nervous, but you can't quite tell because she appears calm. She's not looking at her phone. She's sitting comfortably but not too relaxed and not too lazy as well. So calm is generally better in this kind of situation. Calm is better than impatient because it communicates. What does it communicate? It communicates confidence. Okay, well, self-centered or outgoing. Self-centered, of course, can be another way to say selfish, right? That's another way to say selfish. So what do you think that they value? Self-centered employee doing yoga in the waiting room, trying to relax, or outgoing? Someone who's ready to talk, who's not talking the whole time, but they are ready to discuss. They're ready to talk to new employees. They're ready to talk to the interviewer. This is an outgoing person, and again, it communicates confidence as well. It definitely communicates confidence. It can be a fine line, right, to talk about these. aggressive or peaceful? Now you can see the people on the left, they look like they're not exactly very friendly to each other, right? They're not exactly very friendly to each other. So what looks like better employees? Employees are going to be very aggressive to each other, or employees who are going to be peaceful and not too competitive with each other. Remember, you're supposed to work together as a team and not hurt your other team members, not compete with your other team members too much, right? So being too competitive is often frowned upon, even in America, which can be a very competitive place. Thinking about something else, worried about something else, talking on the phone to somebody else, or being open-minded. What's a better way to act in your opinion? Of course, when we look at the other picture, it's pretty easy to tell which one is better. But when you go to the interview, how often do you worry about something else? Not have anything on your mind, the correct thing on your mind for the interview. Now, many of us might do that, but we want to focus and be open-minded to our job interviewing. Worried or self-assured. Self-assured is another word for, self-confident. So being worried is generally not good, and I've been at job interviews where I was also very worried as well. It's not a good way to be. Again, you can see there's a pattern here, what we're looking for. Being self-assured and confident, focusing on your interview are good things. Being worried, thinking about something else, thinking about other people, being aggressive to other people are bad things for the job interview. Late or ready? Well, we know getting ready very late is not a good idea. It's not good to be late in any situation, and probably even if you're a really great person for the job, being late is gonna set you behind in the job, and you're probably not gonna get it. Now, there are exceptions. You may be late and you might be an awesome candidate. If you're really, really confident, that might work. But in general, you want to be on time, and not just on time, but 15 minutes early is best. Being ready and being prepared for the questions is best. Shy or friendly. This can be very, very difficult as well, and I think it's hard, especially for Korean students who might try to get a job in America. Being shy can sometimes be seen as unfriendly, unfriendly. Uh, where you might be a friendly person, but you're just shy and you don't like to open up to people. But remember that being friendly is the best way to go about a job interview, making connections for your job and talking. I know sports business are not, generally, most of them are not too shy. So this is the thing that they're usually very good at. Sometimes I think sports business are more confident than me. Believe it or not. So that is, of course, a good skill. And I think lots of sports people are very confident. So that is sort of your benefit. The hard part is for sports management jobs, you're going up against many other confident and friendly people, right? Tired or fit? Should you be tired at an interview? Of course not. Sometimes you might be so nervous, right? You could be extremely nervous and you don't get any sleep the night before. That is a bad thing. That is a negative thing. You want to be fit, woke, and ready for the interview. That's another way of being ready. That's another way of not being late as well. Excuse me. So that's something else to consider. Don't be tired. I know it's sometimes difficult to do, but getting the 8 hours of sleep is always so important. So important. And don't forget, the interview starts in the waiting room. So making good impressions, making first impressions, dressing well, and being confident, friendly, and focused is going to be your best chance for the interview, and that's going to be important when we do our fake interview at the end of the semester. That's why I tell you guys, when we go to the Zoom class, please turn on your cameras. Please turn on your cameras, because having your camera on is a way we can make eye contact. We can talk. Making eye contact during the interview, very important as well. Okay, so just really quickly, we're going to go over the job interview, something that we're going to practice again, right? And something that we're going to practice in the Zoom class as well. But I want you to be a little bit familiar, because it's going to be half of your final test, okay? It's going to be half of your final test. So we're going to take on different roles. Imagine these roles and focus on these, because we're going to do it. We're going to practice at least a little bit in our Zoom class this week. So role A, you've been looking for a company that will offer on-the-job training for sports marketing students. So they're going to hire you, and then they're going to train you how to do that job. So you saw the advertisement online and you decide to apply for the vacancy. So vacancy, in this sense, vacancy is an open job. They need somebody. After a week, you received a call from the company requesting you to attend the interview. In the second role, the other student in our practice is going to be the human resource manager of a sports equipment company. Your company has vacancies for trainees, and they're offering on-the-job training for students from university business programs, like your program. After going through the applications, you called the prospective potential employees for an interview. Task: you're going to act out the dialogue between the employee and the customer. Practice the communication skill taught in the module. So we're going to talk about this now. Okay, just go through some of these right now. So the first question they can ask you in the job interview, they might ask you, so one student is going to have to ask, tell me about yourself. Tell me about yourself, right? So when you answer this question, tell me about yourself, what you should do is be succinct, be quick and to the point. Be work specific. Tell me about the job you had before and what job you want to do. Tell me about what you learned from your past work experiences. And do company research on what strengths and qualities this company is looking for. What are they looking for in a job? So use the present, past, future formula. Something you talked about that you want now, and talk about your past, talk about your future. So where are you now? What's your current job? What are your passions now? Your past, how did you get there? That means talk about your past education, talk about your old jobs and your experience, and then talk about your future goals, okay? An important bonus is if you're able to identify how the position you apply for aligns with how you envision your future. So connect this new job with your goals. That can be very important. So my future goal is to be head of marketing, and your company has a really good marketing program. So that aligns, it fits, aligns means fits with my future goals. Why should we hire you? So that's the second question they might ask. So your other student is going to ask, why should we hire you? Well, you need to show that you're uniquely suited for this job. You uniquely fit this job. Show you know some significant details about the company. You understand their company. You know some interesting things about their company that you care about that. So they want to hire you if you care about their company. Tell one of your success stories. Tell about when you were successful, and it highlights your qualities. Don't be too modest. So what does modest mean? Yeah, modest is like shy. Modest is like you need to show your good points. This is another point. Maybe it can be a little different in Korea. we like when you show off your good points, but don't be too arrogant. Don't be too proud, but be proud of your successful points. Be proud of your successful points. This is another good time to review the qualifications and the requirements in the job listing so you can make a response that fits what the interview is looking for. So read carefully the job advertisement. Read it carefully and try to fit your responses to what you think they want for their company. What is your greatest strength? What is your good point? What is your best point? They might ask you. They always ask this at jobs, right? I think in Korea and America, this is the same. So highlight a strength that is crucial or important to this position. Research the company and don't be too modest and don't be too arrogant. Don't be too modest. Don't be too arrogant. Both of those things, right? So you want to show them attributes that will qualify you for that job and make you different from other people. Show them from your experience rather than tell. Tell a story from your experience that shows you're a good problem solver. You're not just saying it, but you can show them something from your past, something you did that makes you a good potential employee, something that makes you special, a problem solver. Don't just say, I'm a good problem solver. Tell them about a time when you worked and you were good at solving problems. Tell them a story. They want to hear it. They want to know you. And most of all, they want to know that you are a good choice for their company. You're a good choice for their company. What's your greatest weakness? So Monday strength, weakness. What is your best point and weakness? What is your worst point? Don't be shy, but don't make yourself sound terrible. Show that you know what your weakness is. Because if you show them that you know what your weakness is, you can show them that you can improve, you can overcome. Don't say you have no weaknesses because everybody does. That is arrogant. That's too proud. But make your weakness seem like a positive trait. You could say, sometimes I can be too honest. Sometimes I work too much and I get tired. Okay, that can make your weakness sound like a positive trait. If your job is if the job you want to get is for marketing, don't say I'm bad at marketing design. Okay, because that's an important part of the job. They're not going to choose you. And don't dodge this question. I use that word dodge. Don't try to escape this question. Answer them honestly, but answer in a way that makes it seem like you are still the best choice for this job. Okay, example, I've always struggled with perfectionism. Remember, perfectionism is the need to be perfect. Perfectionism. I'm not sure. What is the word in Korean for perfectionism? Anybody know? 원벽주의. Okay. I'm always a perfectionist. I truly want to do the job correctly the first time, but sometimes it means I devote more time to the project that's necessary. I spend too much time on my work. I'm too much perfectionist. I've learned to balance this with important responsibility of meeting deadlines. So I'm a perfectionist. I sometimes work too hard, but I need to focus on meeting deadlines more. Okay, you see how you balance the good with the bad. You say true, you sometimes take too long to finish jobs, but it's because you're a perfectionist. You want everything to be perfect. And another question I might ask you is, of course, why do you want to work for us? This is the only last one we're going to talk about for today, but it's one important one. Why do you want to work for us? Well, Talk about the specific things that make you passionate about the company. Be complimentary. Talk about good things about the company. And show that your strengths align with their position and their company's culture. So, because I'm really focused on sports management, and I really want to manage a sports team, a women's sports team in the future. So I'm just really passionate about this, and you guys have a very successful team, and I just think it would be a really great company to work for. So I think my ideas about my goals align with your company culture. Okay. All right. So I want you to think about these questions and think about how you might answer these questions for a sports related company. And I hope we're going to practice this coming soon on this week's Zoom class, if you're able to come. So coming to this week's Zoom class can be kind of important in that sense. Okay? Okay. Don't forget, May 14th this week, we have our Zoom class, as we said. Please turn on your cameras, try to speak. We're going to talk about tattoos, what we had said before about tattoos and the NBA tattoos. Bring a picture of the tattoo design that you want, if you want one. We're going to talk about whether you want a tattoo or not. And we're going to talk about that NBA case. Who owned the player's tattoo? That's our business topic. Who owns the player's tattoos? And we're going to practice a little bit our job interviews. Okay. So we're going to come up with some jobs, and you guys are going to ask each other questions, and I'm going to jump in and interview as well as a kind of practice. Okay, as a kind of practice. Okie dokie. Again, let me know if you have any questions. Send me an email, or else I shall see you in Zoom class. Okay, everybody. Thanks for listening. Hope to talk to you soon. Good luck.